Hey, what's up guys? Totally Dubbed here, and today I'm going to make a review on the Sony HX9. And I'm currently recording with my W300, so it's my old camera, so sorry for not being HD. But this camera is absolutely amazing for HD recording. That's one thing I've absolutely loved. And obviously it is a camera, so it does take pictures. So I'm just going to go through some of the features of it, and just going to show you a couple of things. First of all, one thing you notice when you get the camera is that it's quite bulky. It's not like your normal camera. Let me just compare it with my Samsung Galaxy S. As you can see, there's quite a big difference. Let's get the silicone protection off. There's quite a big difference between the two. And for example, my DSC300 must be around about that thick. So as you can see, it's a little bit thicker. So if you want to fit it in your pocket, that might be a little bit harder to do. However, I have always been able to put it in my pockets, and it's just sometimes a little bit bulky, especially if you have a case as well. So, right, so what's good and what's bad about this camera? So, well, first of all, the size of it is not exactly that convenient. Um, it's it's nice that it can fit in your pocket, but it's not exactly it's not really that comfortable. Saying that, it's much better than carrying a massive DSLR. So there you go. Secondly, the lens is absolutely amazing. I found that the lens is really nice. Its zoom capabilities is just brilliant, and it goes up to 16 times optical zoom and up to 64. I think it was 64 times digital zoom. Here we go. There you go, 64 times digital zoom, and you can take some absolutely great pictures. I know it looks grainy because I'm just looking at something which is not too far from me, but when I go out, so I'm taking a 64 times shot right now, and try and see if it's gonna. Well, doesn't show much, but it is actually quite clear. It's not like you would expect to be all grainy and everything, but it's actually quite nice. Another thing that I really like about this camera is its autofocus. Now, funnily enough, the camera you can see now that is recording, as you can see, it hasn't focused properly, so you can't really make out what's written there. Whereas with this camera, it is absolutely amazing in terms of focusing. I have no problems whatsoever recording my Samsung Galaxy S, popping up to my computer screen and coming back down to my Samsung Galaxy S. It focuses really fast, and if you want to make it faster focus, you've got a tracking focus over here. So this actually allows you to determine where the focus is at. So if you have problems, then you can always do that, which is quite good. And also, of course, you can just slightly hold down the shutter, and it will focus for you, as you can see. So that's for camera and movies. So this is absolutely brilliant. In terms of photo wise, there's one thing which I wasn't too impressed, to be quite honest. Now let me show you a comparison. I don't know if you're going to be able to see through this camera, and let's try and see. Basically, as you can see, the colors over there look kind of normal, but when I go on the Superior Auto or even the Intelligent Auto, all colors seem kind of really orange. I don't know if you'll be able to see. I'll just take another picture. And I'll explain what this mode does as well. As you can see, as you can hear, it takes kind of 3 or 4 pictures depending on how bright or light it is outside. And what it does, it tries to get the best colors on every picture and put them all in one. So I just took a picture of my carpet right there, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but can you see how much brighter this one is? Now that's great. I mean, it brings out the colors and everything, and it's really good for scenery. But when it comes to real life, as in when I want to take a picture of someone, like my hand, for example, I look orange, and it does not look nice at all. So when I'm on Intelligent Auto or Superior Auto, I find that the colors are really vivid and not really nice at all. And I actually went to Sony and Jessup's to ask them, is it a problem with the camera, or is it just something that's it's known to be with these cameras? And he said, to be honest, it's made to bring out the colors, so you wouldn't really use it to take a picture of someone. So as you can see, it's brilliant, looks nice there, but when it comes to taking pictures of people, it won't look as nice. This is more of a real color tone. So obviously on program I can select the colors and whatnot, whereas on Superior Auto it does it all for me and I can't really change anything. So bear that in mind. So when you get the camera, just make sure that maybe you play around with the program settings and see what you want. So for example, on mine I have got the saturation down. Here we go. I've got the color mode on real, I've got saturation on minus, and pretty much everything is there. So that's the cameras. In terms of the picture quality, it is good, but it doesn't really make me say, wow, it's amazing. My current camera, well, my old camera, my DSC W300, the one which is recording right now, took amazing photos. Of course, sometimes, when you were zoomed in, it would be grainy, whereas this one, you don't actually see any graininess. But for the price of the camera, I kind of expected a little bit better picture qualities. However, now on the movie front, this camera is absolutely amazing. I mean, I record in 720p over here, but you can go up to 1080 and a really good quality 1080. So at the moment I'm on MP4, as you can see, movie format MP4, and you can take that to AVCHD. Now what that means is a superior quality of 1080, and I'll show you what that means. So let's go there, menu, and over here you can see that there's different types. So over here it's 9M, HQ, 17M, 24, and 28, and basically the higher you go, I mean, the higher the quality of the film will be. However, the problem I find with oh god, I can't even say it, AVCHD is the fact of the actual format itself. What I mean by that is that when I open it on my computer, there is no real media player that really picks it up and recognizes it. You'll need codec packs for Windows Media Player. VLC shows it a little bit blurred. So I tend to stick on MP4, and to be quite honest, I'm fine with that. If you want to do more professional videos, then yeah, go for AVCHD. So I use 720p and I find it absolutely amazing. The only thing I realise is that sometimes the movie quality looked a bit washed out, and to change that you can change the scene. So over here you can change the scene and you can change it to soft snap, landscape, twilight, high sensitivity, beach, snow and fireworks. So whichever is more appropriate for you. I however find it's best to put it on intelligent auto because usually it just picks up like I'm on macro mode, like that. However, you can't really select that mode, so it's quite good. It also will realise if you're on a tripod or not. If you hold it steady for a while and start recording, it will come up with a tripod sign. If you start moving, it will come up as you're moving, basically. So it's quite good. To record, however, one thing I've found which is kind of annoying is the fact that I have to press this little button here. And this little button is kind of grooved in. So when I have to press it, I have to kind of press down. I can't just click it like that. Which is kind of annoying, and I guess, yeah, you're not going to mishit it. But for someone which makes videos all the time on his camera, I find that button a little bit annoying. And if you want to take pictures, you can take pictures by doing that. So for example, I'll take a movie, and if I want to take a picture, it'll be at 3 megapixels, and it takes a picture there. And you continue recording, so you don't stop your recording because you take your picture. So do that. There you go. So now I would have 2 pictures plus a video. So to stop it, hit that button again. I've got the video and I've got the pictures. So looks absolutely brilliant. So it's quite useful if you want to take that nice little, you're taking a video, for example, of a car and you want to take a picture of it, bang, take a picture of it. Right, well there's not that much more towards the movie mode apart from how to record, the buttons and the formats it comes in. Apart from that, as I said, the autofocus is really quick on movie mode as well, and it means that you don't really lose, it's not blurry when you're trying to record. So in terms of the movie front, I found it absolutely amazing. In terms of the actual functionalities of the camera, I like this little custom button. Let's just go on program. Little custom button, and it allows you just quick customization of a certain thing. So here I've got the EV, and I can quickly customize that. It's quite nice, quite handy just to change it and go back. So instead of going through the menu, so it's quite nice to have that little button there. The zoom is quite good. It goes slowly if you do that, and then goes even faster if you pull it even more. So slow there, and then faster like that. It's quite nice. The button is quite responsive as well when it comes to taking photos. And obviously you can turn off that shutter sound as well. In terms of this actual scroll wheel, I found it's actually very annoying. It's actually quite stiff, although the camera might be quite new, granted, but I find it quite hard to switch between modes. Whereas on my old camera it was quite easy. There's a little wheel over here. It was quite easy. Whereas over here it feels kind of hard, and I mean you can almost hear it clicking. So yeah, that's not my favorite feature, but hey, you can live with it. Especially if you're just gonna, for example, just leave it on P. You're not really gonna change it all that often. The playback quality is quite good as well. The screen is absolutely amazing. You can see it on quite a lot of angles, and also on top of that it rotates. So just like a Samsung Galaxy S, for example, any sort of device, it rotates, so that's quite nice. And then you've got this little wheel over here, which is quite nice actually, especially for viewing pictures. So for example, let's go here. So I can quickly flick between pictures, just doing that, but also I can go left and right. So that's quite nice. I find that really good. Although the camera isn't as responsive as you'd want, maybe a little bit faster would be better, but it's fine. It's okay. It has to do its things. So yeah. So for example, here's a picture I took in Westfield, and say I can zoom in. Very nice picture quality right there. And then we've got the menu. Now in the menu you've got all different array of settings. Obviously it depends on what setting you're on. I'm on P now, so you got more settings. If you go on M manual, you have even more settings. But you can fine tune it the way you want. Nothing too special to see over here. There's just one quite interesting thing, is the high and low burst shooting intervals. Low is 2 shots in a second, and high is 10. So if I want to take more photos, I tend to go for high because it's quite nice. The picture quality is absolutely amazing. When my girlfriend was graduating, I took pictures of her throwing her hat, for example, up in the air, and it was really, really nice. There is also a setting for GPS. Now I've left it off because it uses obviously battery, and I don't really need to know because I don't really use the PMB launcher. So for me, having GPS doesn't really matter, but for someone which is traveling quite a lot, for example, you go to different countries and you want to take a picture of everywhere you've been, then a GPS setting is actually very, very nice. It will pinpoint where you took the picture on Google Maps, so that's quite nice. There's been reports that GPS isn't that fast, which, granted, you know, I've got a camera, I don't have a phone, so yeah, it's not going to be super fast, but hey, as long as you've got the feature there, it's quite nice. Right, and then now we're going to the other settings. Obviously you can get the movie format, AF illuminator, grid lines, which I always leave on. Digital zoom, if you leave it on smart, then it'll only be optical. If you go precision, then it'll integrate the digital zoom in as well. Wind noise reduction, I haven't tried that yet, but it's quite interesting if you're in a windy location, I guess by the beach or somewhere like that. Blink alert, I haven't seen that really work because I've had 2 or 3 pictures where people have had their eyes closed, and it hasn't really helped that much. Write date is quite nice. It leaves a little stamp mark. I'll show you that in a second. And obviously you can customize your custom button, the one which was over here. So EV, ISO, white balance, and you've got metering mode and smile shutter. So I'll just show you the right date thing. So I don't know if you saw, but at the very bottom it gives you a little date down there. So let's turn the display off. But it's quite nice. That's quite useful if you want to take pictures for example, souvenir, like, I don't know, your child was born or something like that, and you want to take a picture. That is quite nice to have a little timestamp, and it's not too big, not too small, not too in your face, so it's quite nice to have there. So through the other settings, main setting, panel brightness is the brightness of the actual screen itself. Language setting, display color, black, white, up to you. Functioning guide is useful if you don't really know the camera that well. After you get used to it, I suggest turning it off because it takes some time. Basically what this does, it explains everything. So for example, if I do that, it explains what it is. So it does that. The only problem I find with this is that it takes time, see? And then it goes into your thing. Although the best way to skip it is just to hold down the shutter button over there, and it quickly switches. But yeah, I like switching that off because it's kind of annoying, especially if you're switching modes every now and then. So let's go back to it. Right. Then you've got your memory card tools and your clock setting, so nothing special in there. I've currently got a 8GB Class 10 SanDisk Extreme SD card in there, which I find very good, very fast. No problems in taking photos at all, as you can see. Very good. Now in terms of the speed of the actual phone, the camera, it's actually very good. I can take pictures really quickly, so I've been really impressed with that. Although the quicker you take it, maybe it'll be a little bit blurred because it didn't focus properly, as the camera is my camera right now has lost focus. So yeah. Apart from that, I can't really think there's anything else that would come to mind with this camera. It's basically the final thing actually I can think of is the flash. Now the flash is not very convenient. The flash, actually, the quality of the flash is absolutely amazing. In a pitch black place, I put on the flash. It gave a nice soft sort of flash. Wasn't too bright, wasn't too dark either. It was pretty nice. The problem I find with the flash is that it automatically pops up. So as you can see over here, it's going to pop out and it takes a photo. So it is okay, but I find that kind of annoying, especially if someone doesn't know how to use the camera. They'll have their hand right there, and when it takes a photo, you're like, oh, what the hell? So it's kind of annoying in that front, and I find that it's maybe a little bit not flimsy, but over time I can imagine it being a bit flimsy if you get mistakes and stuff like that. I read on the Sony website that you can push it down like that, and that's fine to do. So you can do that, but it just doesn't feel right. I would have preferred a flash somewhere else, but I don't know where else they would fit it. I guess they could integrate it over here, but then the flash wouldn't be as good. So it's understandable that they put it over here. But just bear that in mind when you're taking photos. You have to kind of, usually you take a photo like this, but now you kind of have to take it like that, or some other grip, some other way. But to be honest, the grip over here is really good, especially with that thumb one over there. So you can just take photos like this very easily. But yeah, it'll be kind of heavy, a little bit heavy on your wrist because the camera isn't exactly that light. So, for example, for someone which is not, shall I say, strong, but has wrist pains or something like that, whatever it is, it might be a little bit hard. So you might want to hold it with two hands, and then just bear in mind that flash. So yeah. And the another thing which actually concerned me is the actual putting it on the tripod is the standard screw, so the same tripod that I have at the moment works on that. Finally, one major thing is actually the charging of this camera. Yeah, well, the charging of this camera I really dislike. So usually you've got a battery over here, right? And it just, well, it's a matter of opinion, by the way, this, so it's up to you. Usually you have a battery, and you put it into one of these, and it starts charging. I find that fun. It's not even connected, but anyway, you put it into charge and it starts charging over time, and you've got your camera separately. Now, what have Sony done? Instead of giving you this adapter, which you can buy separately, this is actually the one with my DSC-W300, the camera which is recording now. Instead of providing this, they provided a wire. Now, okay, this USB wire is the one which connects to the PC. So just go over here. You can see a USB cable there, and this is the cable which goes into the camera. So they gave you that USB cable, but they give you also this charger. Now, this is the charger for the HX9, and I really dislike it. So this connects into, obviously, your wall or whatever. You plug this in over here. So, yeah. And then after that, this has a USB connection right there. This connects into a USB. And then, now you're wondering, how the hell do I charge my camera then? You have to have the battery inside the camera, and then connect the camera like it was connected to the computer. So, like that. Let's see, right. And then a light over here will come up. So let me just put this on. Oh, you won't be able to see because the wire's not long enough. But yeah, I find that kind of pointless. I mean, look how many wires there are there that I need to carry around to charge this thing. Why not get rid of all of that and just give me one little charging dock, and I can just put in my battery? I find that really irritating. I mean, I'm just going to keep the one on my DSC-300, so this camera's one, and charge it like that. It's the same battery. I mean, the batteries are absolutely identical. The one in this camera at the moment is the exact same one as this one, the MPBG1. So it's exactly the same thing. So why not just provide me that little charging dock, shall I say? Anyway. Some people might prefer it, however, because instead of carrying around that little adapter thing, then you just have to carry around, well, an additional wire in a box, basically. Simply because you'd probably need this wire to connect to your PC anyway, so you'd need to carry that around. I just find it kind of pointless that why did Sony not offer the option, or at least provide both? I mean, it's not exactly cost a lot, is it? So yeah, anyway, that's just one complaint that I've had with the HX9, and it's actually not a complaint of the camera, it's a complaint with the accessories. I actually found the lack of accessories does not really complement a £300 camera that well, or a £400 camera. So yeah, it's not very impressive on that front. Another thing that I didn't really like about the camera is actually, I find kind of the lens kind of flimsy. It feels like it's kind of light, or you can actually kind of hear it if you kind of shake the camera a little bit. But it's not major. Obviously, more technical guys would find that kind of probably a little bit frustrating, but it's nothing too special. You don't really notice it that much. It's only if you actually properly shake it around, then you'll kind of realize that. So yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention actually is the stereo sound that you get from this camera, which is absolutely amazing. It actually captures sound perfectly. So yeah. So what I'll do is at the end of this video, I'm gonna attach some pictures I'm gonna take, some comparisons, and I'll write down exactly what each photo or video was, and I hope you enjoy this video. So sorry I haven't been too technical on this video, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best guy to ask on cameras, but this camera, I did some research and I realised it's one of the best for HD recordings, and indeed it is. I mean, I haven't seen a camera like this to take such great videos, and on top of that, allows me to zoom in, has fast focus, and on top of that is a nice camera altogether. So it is a good camera overall, and yeah, I recommend going for it if you want a nice camera that will take videos and take pictures, and more so fit in your pocket more than anything. So yeah. Right, so I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please do rate, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Totally dubbed out. Bye bye.